Well, good morning, guys. Welcome to the Left Seat Media channel. Today we are going to go fly around Goodnews, Alaska. I started us in parking spot 1, which ended me up like this. It's kind of funny. Let's go ahead and look outside. So my airplane's sitting on the tail because this hill is so steep. This is a default parking position in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. It is standard to just sit your plane on the tail like this with the brake on. And maybe that guy's going to hand prop the plane for us too. So let's go ahead and get this thing started up. Everything's off, of course. If you're in a parking spot when you start Flight Simulator, everything's off. So you have to figure out how to turn all this stuff on. And usually you'd want to start with a battery. But usually you make sure everything is off first. So let's go ahead and turn on some battery. Alright, in the Cirrus you just go battery and alternators. You don't need to turn on the avionics yet. Alright, so everything's up. You've got your engine instruments there. We'll throw the strobes on so they know we're starting. Oops, wrong one. There we go. Alright, everything's good there. We have the fuel selector on the tank. We don't have much fuel, but we're not going to fly very long. And of course, we're going to want to prime this thing. So in the Cirrus, typically, we're going to have the mixture full and give it some prime here. About 3 or 4 seconds until the fuel sender starts reading fuel, which would be up here but on the fuel gauge, fuel flow, but we can't see that on Microsoft Flight Simulator. So now we're ready to start. We want to flip this thing. It's still priming. No, it shouldn't be priming. Anyway, that's a spring-loaded switch in the airplane. That should have sprung back to off when I was done holding it. So now we're on boost pump. Everything looks good. We're going to go ahead and crank it. So you just take the throttle should be back, yeah, and crack the quarter, and we'll go ahead and just spin the starter here. And there it goes. And look at that, it just hops onto the nose. Alright, that's flashing telling me we need pitot heat, but we'll go ahead and turn everything on too. We got the avionics on, the pitot heat. We'll go ahead and turn on nav and landing lights on. Even though these ramp guys might think we're ready, we are not ready yet. The boost pump can come off now. And we'll go ahead and just switch the tanks, make sure both tanks work on the ground. That's always a good idea. Why does that look like it's off? Well, it's not. Off is way down at the bottom there. Okay, we are ready to move. So I guess I can release the parking brake and just roll backwards here, like that. And we're gonna go. We were moving pretty fast. I hope no one's behind us. You guys need to watch out. Oh, there's a fuel truck. Did you see that? There's a fuel truck. All right, we made it down the hill. How fun was that? Let's go out to the runway. And we'll just hang out right here for a moment. Before we go, we're just going to set up a couple things. Yeah, we'll want to set up some altitude here. So I just spun it a little bit, but can't really see. We'll go like that, and we'll spin that up. Okay, that's way too much. There we go, we got 4,200 feet in there. We need our heading. We'll sync that on the runway. Everything else looks good. We can set up the autopilot. Flight director. And put it on heading and vertical speed up to that altitude. Okay. And 700 feet a minute is pretty much good with the Cirrus. So let's zoom in and see what we did here. And it's about 1,000. I want to turn that down a couple. Alright, we are ready to go. And we'll just make sure no one's out there on the runway. Alright. Put in 50% flaps. And we can even check on my moving the ailerons. Well, yeah, okay. In the real airplane, they're a little bit closer together. And they kind of line up. But maybe this is a new model. Oh, there's the grass. Okay, oop. I put on too much brake. Now we're stuck. There we go. Okay, we're ready to go. Rock and roll. And I'll just reach down and push that heading bug. And it's in front of us there. If you stay on the runway, it usually helps. There we go. Come on, needed some back trim in there. Now, if there's a bunch of forward trim in this thing, it makes it really hard to fly. So you just want to add some back trim before you take off, or else you get that. And if you can, just climb up to about 500 feet before pulling the flaps up, in case you need to use the chute. But the chute doesn't work. So I'm going to go ahead and just accelerate past 90, and we'll get the flaps up. There we go. Flaps are coming up. And I'm just going to go ahead and add some more back trim. There we go. Now, let go of the yoke. Look down. And we'll throw the autopilot on. Oh, yeah. Now, everything just changed on me. That's interesting. So, we do need to go back to vertical speed. Yeah, it's giving me crap here. Look at that. Nice autopilot, guys. Thanks a lot. Trying to kill me. Anyway, I resolved the issue. Let's go ahead and take a look at the scoreboard. Heading, autopilot. We got way too much vertical speed in there. That'll probably stall us. So let's go ahead and bring that back. A couple clicks here. And we're getting 900 now. Much better. Obviously, this altimeter is off. Not sure what's going on there, so we'll go ahead and spin that. There we go. You have to hold the top of the button, but it's still not working. There we go. And the standard is 2992 on that altimeter. 2992 inches. That was weird how it was all the way down there like that. And there we go, that's standard. Alright, let's go look at this beautiful sunrise. Now that this thing's on its way. Oh yeah. The engine just decided to roll back. Let's go ahead and see what's happened here. We're on the throttle full. Alright, autopilot's coming off. Alright, let this happen. Why do we have no manifold pressure? Well then. Take a look at the fuel. Zero fuel flow. We have no fuel. It used both tanks up in a very short period of time here. I'm not quite sure what happened. I guess we'll switch the tanks. And yeah, this thing's done. Somehow he ran it out of fuel in that short little flight, which is totally wrong. But I guess we're going down, guys, so let's find a spot. And in the real airplane, you would reach up and, you know, start the process of pulling the Inop chute here. Because we have really nowhere to go. I mean, we're out in the mountains of the middle of nowhere, Alaska. So we're going to have fun trying to find somewhere to put this one down. Great. Maybe you guys can find a good spot. I'm having a hard time. Right back there in that lake. Near the lake. At least if we need water, we can get something, huh? Alright, so we'll go ahead and turn off the fuel. Throttle should be idle there. I don't know what's going on with that. Fuel selector is off. And then we'll turn all this off.
500.
Alright, there's a little swampy marsh thing that we're going to be going into here. Alright, full flaps. Holding it off. There's some bushes there. See if we can get over those real quick. And just hold it off onto the mountain here. We're just still rolling, so we'll just put the brake on there, and that's that. It says we landed.